maybe the 100th or so chapter in his life. So it felt like I came into a story that was already mostly written. But with my papa, it never felt like I was behind. This was, in part, because my papa was an excellent storyteller. I could sit with him and my grandmother for hours as they would reminisce about their lives, and I would listen intently as they told me their stories. The stories he would tell most often were those of his family. He would tell me about him growing up with his brothers and sisters in Canada, and how his sister would beat up his neighborhood bullies to protect him. He would tell us about his house blowing up because of some bootleg coal his family had bought, and about how he got hit by a car trying to see the boxing champion of Canada. But his favorite story to tell was how he met my grandmother. He would say how they first noticed each other at a local Medford roller skating rink, and that he saw her walking down the street as he drove past in a car filled with his friends. He shouted her name out to get her attention, and something must have worked, because a week later, my grandmother saw him perform at the school talent show, and they've been together ever since. He loved my Nana more than anyone else, and they eventually had 5 kids with each other. They stayed married for 65 years and were completely inseparable for as long as I knew him. During those 65 years, he worshipped and adored my grandmother and would constantly brag about how beautiful she is. My grandfather also had many hobbies. His favorite sport was baseball, and his favorite player was the kid, Ted Williams. He was also an artist, would often paint pictures of our houses or of the family. And in those paintings, for some reason, he would always give every granddaughter in the family the same exact haircut, a pixie cut. He was also a talented musician who loved country music. Some of his favorite singers were Johnny Cash, Hank Williams, and of course, his sister Mary. He loved performing, and he performed on stage with the Mystic Players for years, and for many, many audiences. But his absolute favorite audience was his family. He would sing us songs like "In the Jailhouse Now," while he yodeled between each verse, and he would do impressions of Frankie Fontaine's Crazy Guggenheim, which never failed to make me laugh, and never failed to make my Nana tell him to stop. For his career, he worked in construction as an estimator, and worked on buildings like the Christian Science Center and the Chevalier Theater, which he was very proud of. He brought his construction home with him all the time by constantly working on small projects to keep himself busy. Whether it be roofing, or tiles, or a paint job, he would always find something for himself to fix, especially around his cottage in Maine, which was one of his favorite places to be in the world. He was a devout Catholic, and he would never, not once, miss a Mass. He would read the Bible every night and write in the margins or on his index cards important words or passages to remember. Even the readings we read today came from those index cards he gave me. He would give me some of those cards to help guide me through life. He didn't just say or write those words either. He would live by them. He was a true Christian in every sense of the word. Above all else, he was always so proud of his family. He would constantly brag about his grandkids, his kids, his wife, his siblings, anyone he loved, even when it may not have been deserved. It was hard to know how good anybody was at anything, because he always thought they were not just great, but the best at what they were doing. This is because he was always an optimist. When some people looked at opportunities and picked out reasons reasons why they should. He was constantly encouraging me and the rest of his grandkids to achieve our goals and reach our potential. He always wanted me to either be an estimator like him, or a priest, or both at the same time. And although that may never come true, I hope I can still make him proud in other ways. So here's to a great person, one of the best there is. I love you, Papa.